In this short video, I'm going to give you a few tips that will help you make the most of your time on the mountain with this GoPro Hero 4. So my first tip is to really get to know this amazing bit of equipment, because even though it's really small, it is actually quite complex. And if you get the settings right, you can get some beautiful images. So one of the most important settings on this camera is frame rate, and frame rate is the amount of images that make up a section of video. The higher the frame rate, the more that you're able to slow it down. To change the frame rate, ensure that you are in the video mode, then press the settings button on the side of the camera and scroll down to FPS. You will have a number of options to choose from. 24 and 25 frames per second are for a more natural cinematic look. 48 and 50 frames per second will allow you to slow the speed of your video by half without compromising the quality of the picture. 90 and 120 frames per second are for super slow motion. Next up is resolution, and that's the size of the image, so the amount of pixels that make up the video. Most of the time I have it on 1080, which means that the quality is really good and it's high definition, but you can set it up to 4K, which is amazing if you want to start cropping into the picture or you just want really high resolution, beautiful image. The only problem there is that you can record less on this. To change the resolution, access the settings menu, then scroll down to the image of a screen. There are numerous options, but if you're uploading your images to YouTube, it's best to choose from 720, 1080, 2.7K or 4K. Then there's field of view. Field of view is the zoom, so you can have it wide angle, you can have it kind of medium, which is still pretty wide on a GoPro, and then you can have it zoomed in. Go to settings, then scroll down to FOV. You will then be able to choose from W for wide angle, M for medium zoom, and N for narrow zoom. This camera also has a feature called ProTune, which allows you to film in a higher bit rate, so more information is going into the camera, so the image quality is even better than it is usually. To enable ProTune, scroll through the settings, and when you reach the initials PT, change this to on. ProTune activates several features, including a better dynamic range, and is aimed at professionals who require more flexibility when editing and colouring footage. Something that I've only recently discovered about the Hero 4 is that you can actually change the colour profile. Normally the GoPro colour profile is very vivid colours with lots of contrast. Now you can change this so that you have less contrast and the colours are more muted, which means if you're into your editing, then you can change the colours, you can edit them, you can bring them up, enhance them, saturate them, which is amazing on a camera that's only £400. My next tip is to make sure that you buy some essential hardware for your GoPro, because this will really add production value to your edits. This extendable pole is really handy because you can keep it in your pocket, and then when you want to go riding, just extend it out. You can film yourself from in front and from behind. Poles are also really useful if you want to follow people, because it takes a lot of the movement out of the picture, leaving your footage nice and smooth. Using an extendable pole also allows you to get nice and close to your subject. As well as a selfie pole, it's also really useful to have a gorilla pod. Now one of these can just fit in your pocket, but they're really good for if you're filming interviews and you don't want the camera moving around a lot, or you're filming you and your mates and you don't want to be holding the camera. Something that really bothers me when I'm watching other people's GoPro edits is the sound. Now it's something that's really easily rectified. First off, why not take it out of the case? Therefore the microphone isn't covered in a thick plastic sheet. You get much better sound quality when you hold it like this. Another solution is to plug a microphone into the mini USB plug here. This is great if you're interviewing people when it's windy outside, or there's loads of background noise from people or from lifts. You can also purchase a little PCM recorder like this, which will just fit into your pocket. It's got a microphone input if you want to use a lavalier mic like this, or you can just leave it on a table or something like that and use it as a dictaphone. They're fantastic value for money, and it's definitely worth buying one. My final tip is to always keep a spare GoPro battery in your pocket. That's because the battery on these things don't last very long. And if you keep it in your pocket, it'll stay warm and dry and it won't lose loads of energy. I hope you found these tips useful. You can find more information on how to use your GoPro and DSLR on skiclub.co.uk. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and have an amazing time on the snow this winter.